Hello, my loves. This is Heidi Hancock with your soul message for July 2020. So this is the first time I'm trying to record outside. I am on vacation in the Sierras near Tahoe, and I just felt called to wait to record this message until I got here, because part of what we're being asked to do this month is to be vulnerable and be in the light, to be seen by more people. So here I am out in the wilderness doing it. So the first image that I was shown for July is a hole in the ground that we are standing right in front of. And we are being asked not just to jump in the hole, but to dive in head first. And the energy that I get is almost being pushed. So I have the sense that if we do not willingly dive in, we are going to be pushed. And another reason for the diving is because this kind of diving, and the card that I got for the month, I started pulling a card I do in my women's circle and my intuitive collage, and I thought, why not try doing it for the monthly soul messages as well. So the card that I got for this month was the underworld, I'm sorry. And right when I picked it, after I'd already written the whole thing, I was like, oh, please don't tell me I don't want to report on this. This is not the direction. But what was so helpful about seeing that is, yes, we're going into the underworld again. But the difference about it this time is that we're not going to the underworld just to hang out there. It's not a torture experiment. We are purposefully going in, and that's the reason for diving. We are purposefully going in to find the jewel that is us, that is our soul purpose, that is our heart, to rediscover ourselves. And like I talked about in June, we talked about the resonance, the convergence into resonance. And that's what we're talking about again this month. The energy of that resonance is still here. Like the mallet on the crystal bowl that goes around, we are being called to pick up all of the old pieces of ourselves that have been dropped and to reincorporate those into our now selves so that we can go forward creating a new world with all of our assets. So a teacher of mine years ago described the soul experience as if we come in with a full deck of cards and we have access to all of the parts of ourselves that we can use. And as we move through the world, we have different experiences where, we didn't get accolades for this, or we didn't get enough experience honing that skill. We start chucking those cards on the ground, and those cards are parts of ourselves. So this month we're extending the energy from June into July. That same resonance energy is still here. So we're diving into the underworld to collect those parts. So it has a very specific reason. So I think just knowing that already is helping me know, okay, there's an absolute purpose for this. The other piece that I've been seeing come up really big right now is disillusionment. There's this way that COVID, Black Lives Matter, like all these big movements that are coming through, this energy is supporting, it's peeling back the veil. It's pulling the veil back and letting us see things, and it's causing disillusionment. As those truths start to fall away, or things that we thought were absolutely true, we're discovering aren't, whether that's about ourselves, other people, the world, our upbringing, whatever it is. And as those things start to come forward, the truth start to come out, this disillusionment starts coming up because we get unsteady. And as I described in my women's circle, it's almost like we imagine us as a solid rock, and the energy of this time, this is like a truth that's like a chisel that's coming along the inside edge of the rock, and it's separating us, right? So it's becoming like we're in the center and there's a bowl, and that bowl is starting to spin, and that spinning is causing this sense of disillusionment. And of course we have 5 planets in retrograde. I mean, all the energies are totally here supporting this. So as the truths start to come up, then what we thought was true before has to start falling away. And when we move into that energy of disillusionment, it's ripe for triggers, because it's going to be putting into question the truths that we had before. So we might be fighting to keep what we thought was true, and not going forward, and it's like that we want to hang on to the old pieces. And so we want to just be aware of that and be super present with ourselves in the process. So in shamanism, there is a state that you want to be in as a healer, and they refer to it as a hollow bone. So it's as if you're a hollow bone and you're allowing spirit to move through you, so that your own human ego doesn't come in to fill the gaps when you're doing healing work, when you're doing channeling, so that you're just the container and you're allowing the information to come in pure. So that's what we're being asked to do for ourselves. We need to be hollow bones for ourselves to allow whatever is happening to shift and move, and not to have judgment about it, because judgment pushes it right back into the dark. So we want to just be as honest and truthful as we can with ourselves, so that the information that is coming through right now, we can gather it and we can use it later. Don't worry about what you're going to do with it now. All we're doing right now is gathering the information. So the other thing with the sense of that disillusionment is perspective. So perspective is coming up really big time. If you think about it, thoughts, feelings, and beliefs shape our reality. So if you believe that something is horrible, it will be horrible just because you've decided that it is horrible. If you decide that it is beautiful and wonderful and magical, it will be that because you have decided that it is. So pay attention to your thoughts and your beliefs. And what are you hanging on to? That's part of like what might be old too. It might be old thought patterns that are ready to go. So a couple things to think about this month. One is breath work. So like I've said in many months before, especially around this COVID period, grief is stored in the lungs, and COVID is a disease of the lungs. So right now we're getting this time to really purify and clear our lungs. And the way you do that is with breath work. So one option would be square breathing. It's inhaling for 4, holding for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4, and you just do that consecutively until you feel like you're done. Another thing is Kapalabhati. It's a fire breathing that they do in Kundalini yoga. I'll have more about all of these on the blog that goes with the video, so you can read more about that. And then chanting, another big thing. Singing, chanting, anything like that that's going to help clear and purify your breathing. The other thing that I love about singing and chanting is that it's going to bring you into your heart space, which is going to help you with the other two things. One is forgiveness. So a big piece about this hollow bone and investigating what's going on is giving yourself the gift of forgiveness and giving other people the gift of forgiveness. So when you start waking up to truths that are different than you thought that they were, you are going to need a lot of forgiveness for yourself, and you're probably going to need to offer a lot of forgiveness to others. And the last piece is vulnerability again. So as these truths are starting to come up and we're discovering who we really are, there's this vulnerability that we have to have with ourselves, just so that we can hold the container of what those truths are that are coming up. And I really want to encourage you to, first write about them, be with them yourselves, but try to find someone that you can share these new truths with, because that's going to help anchor them in and root them into your body and let you feel a sense of permission to reclaim those back in. And so, channel writing or journal writing or whatever can help, just so that it integrates back in with yourself. But then again, think about sharing it, and maybe just pick one person that you feel like is safe and just say, hey, you know what, I have something really vulnerable I would love to share with you. And it may get a conversation going back and forth with the other person, bringing forward new vulnerabilities about themselves too, and give you kind of a larger container that's outside of you, that's helping you to hold all of this shift. So I wish you the best for July, and I will get this posted as soon as I can. Love you so much. Be well. Take care of yourselves. Actually, one last thing that I want to add for this is to try to bring in some play. Try to bring in some joy, because things have been really heavy and hard. And, as I'm like standing out here in the woods, I'm like, this is healing my heart so much, just to be out of town, to be away, to be in nature again. So try to find some time to play, to laugh. We've been playing a lot of games, hiking, like being out in the woods, doing those things so that you can remember the joy, remember what it's all about, remember that you are here to be the brightest truest version of yourself and to give that to the world so that we can heal moving forward with all of our gifts intact and giving our light. Okay, love you so much. Namaste, and see you next month.